Alright, what is up you guys? Welcome back to the channel. We've got an Alliance Horror video for you guys today, and this one's actually against NY. So as you can see there, familiar name, eh? So yeah, we're fighting Kiryu's rank 5 Sentinel, and they've actually got the Bulwark node up for this war. This war is a little bit of an old war, but I just never got the chance because I had so much other stuff that I needed to get through. Because otherwise I end up just not uploading at all. But yeah, so we're going through this fight, and they have Bulwark. I'm fine with Bulwark. Bulwark is definitely the better of between Bulwark and what's the other one? The Siphon. How can I forget Siphon? The best node created or known to man. So yeah, we're going through this, and I think Bulwark actually only came to the rescue for the Defender once this whole war, so I'm pretty content with that. The issue I have with Bulwark is basically against champions that already have block penetration. So basically they'll have block penetration on top of block penetration combined with the global. But yeah, this fight, for example, not too bad, especially because with Namor, I am reflecting a lot more damage, and so even if I'm not critting, there's like a base amount damage that I'm doing against this Sentinel. So yeah, pretty content with that. Yeah, fight's almost over. We're just gonna bait another SP1 and hit into him, and there you go, Sentinel down. Next up, we've actually got a Man-Thing, and I believe this Man-Thing is one of the first times. Well, on this note, it is the first time me fighting him. I was kind of contemplating whether I should go Namor or Quake. It's got Psychic Thorns and Limber. So generally, I don't like to use Quake on Limber just because the timing gets trickier and trickier. During the times when the Limber is active or like the stun duration is getting lower and lower, just don't want to mess that timing up. But we do end up just going with Quake, and we're doing 626 every tick, so pretty decent damage. That first aftershock, after everything's said and done, he is now down to 70%. So yeah, looks like it's gonna be a pretty quick fight. And the other thing is that while concussion is up, we can attack into him, but we just want to yeah, let the aftershocks do all the work. So now we just gotta wait for one more, and then we should be fine. I'm actually pretty surprised I didn't get comboed more. I got hit once, I messed up the timing, but ended up with over 80% health. I believe we lost about 8% to suicides and block damage. So in total we lost about 10% because we did get hit. And then everybody, other people took down the minis, so I was happy about that because I did not have a counter for them. And we got a Wasp here. And so for this one, it is Wasp is on Biohazard. Biohazard's not a hard node. I could take this with either Quake or Ghost, but for the sake of in case I mess up and Wasp for some reason hits me with a light or a medium, she can combo into a heavy, and her heavy, or when she goes for a heavy, the next two hits, or I believe it's when she shrinks, actually when she shrinks, the next hits are guaranteed critical hits. So I believe it's the next two hits, if I'm not mistaken, that become critical hits. So yeah, it's just a lot safer to use Ghost because can evade me, plus the gameplay is pretty easy. Alright, and going on to this first SP3, this fight so far is taking a little bit of time just because the Bulwark node is putting in some work into this. So yeah, instead of being like a 20-second fight, this is taking longer than it should. So we're just going with mediums, and if we get a debuff, we can just phase it quickly. And yeah, those debuffs are doing me some justice because we're just basically we have more damage available to us. Alright, and we're gonna launch another SP3. Just kidding. Just another meeting. Finish the fight off. Alright, and our next fight is Spider-Man. The Spider-Man has best defense, so just a higher chance to evade. I'm just gonna take this with Quake just because makes it pretty easy. Yeah, I was contemplating with Quake, but then I just chose Ghost because one of the nodes was once he gets below 50%, he gets a burst of power or regen. It's regen if if for some reason his ability accuracy was lowered. And so yeah, basically what I did was I waited for the crit buff to be over, and then I just launched my SP2 by evading back as soon as he was coming down with the heavy. Alright, okay, this one I definitely know I used Quake for. So this is Nova. At the time that I recorded this video, Nova was a new defender. So this is my first time fighting a Nova. It's on buffet, best defense, and powered immunity. As far as I know, Nova doesn't have any actual immunities, I believe. And it's on buffet. So the very first thing I want to do on buffet when I'm using Quake is I want to get a crit buff on me. So right there he ate the crit buff, and there I got a crit buff. So now we don't have to worry at all about buffet. One of the things that I didn't think about was Nova does have a little bit of power gain. I believe it's based on how far he dashes. Not entirely sure about on that one, but so he has two things. Depending on the distance he dashes with his medium, he gets a attack rating, and it's a pretty meaty attack rating boost too. And the other one is also some power gain as well. So yeah, definitely want to be using Quake just because it does mitigate how much power he is gaining, and any attack increase as well. So so far, yeah, just easy fight, because Quake just lowers his ability accuracy to 0, so I don't have to deal with any of those abilities. And then we have Warlock, which I went in with Ghost. Initially I didn't think it was going to be an issue. I thought it was like, okay, he's down to about 83k health. I just gotta hit him with mediums. Should be fine. I'll heal up a bit, and I know I'll get the infection on me eventually, but aside from that I should be fine overall. But yeah, I was healing at first, but because of the infection, eventually I did start to degen. So we're at 8 stacks right now, and once we get to 20 stacks, we'll not only be losing power over time, which in reality doesn't matter at all, but we will start to degen because of his awaken ability. So his awaken ability, what it does is that if I have an infection and any kind of like recovery, mastery, or ability activates, I'll start to degen. So as you can see there, I'm degening for 216 every time I'm basically every time I'm supposed to be regenerating through willpower. And because of the node, Power Start 1, I mean Power Lock 1, yeah, I'm just degenning because the whole time I have power, I'm gaining willpower. And so I think this is a very good placement. The combination of the node on top of his ability, it does synergize very well, where you're capped at a bar of power, so you end up using willpower. And if you're using willpower and you have an infection on, which is absolutely inevitable if you're using a champion that isn't crazy on buffs, you will be degenning basically the whole fight. But next up we have a Dr. Doom. So because this isn't a Siphon node, I felt pretty comfortable using Quake. And yeah, I do make a slip up here, and basically I basically play stun immune, except I'm using my block just because I feel it's safer. Although this isn't the same as debuff immunity, I actually do think this is actually a harder node to play Quake than if it was just debuff immunity. And the reason being is because of the concussion. So the concussion actually does mess me up heavy, just because it kind of throws me off my rhythm. So I do get hit here. If this is debuff immunity, I just know, okay, I just play the same the whole entire time and I should be fine. But with this, because the playstyle does swap a little bit, it does like mess me up on my timing. So we're down to 50% health, even though we healed up. But I did throw in on attack boost because there are certain champions that just benefit a lot more than other champions when you give them a little bit more attack. And Quake is one of them. Ghost and Corvus are other two. Champions that don't gain too much are champions like Omega, whose degen does not scale at all, which is pretty insane because yeah, we don't have many characters like that. But I do know Quake's aftershocks and the damage over time that she does when she's charging heavy do go up if you boost them up. And now this gets to a kind of dangerous part of the game where I'm below 18% in Assassin's range, and luckily that ability did not activate, otherwise I would have been dead for sure. Alright, stepping up to the next node. So this node, nothing to worry about because I won't be using specials. And on top of that, Guillotine 2099, she does have a heal when she doesn't use any of her pre-fight abilities, but because I'll be lowering her ability accuracy, this fight is pretty trivial. So I didn't even bother healing up all the way to full. As long as I can stun the opponent, the fight is that much easier. So we're gonna just start with a parry, and yeah, just go for the heavies. So I'm actually pretty glad that I don't know, I know they toned down a Siphon for the next season, but yeah, I'm just not a huge fan of taking more damage, because especially when the opponent doesn't land a single hit on you and all the damage is from block damage. On another note, I'm pretty excited for dungeons. I've been talking to the Kabam devs and they're so hyped on the new iteration of dungeons, so it's got me excited. I'm hoping that it's a lot more rewarding. At the moment I do dungeons with Cade, but I believe that time is coming to an end because Cade is definitely, so he was playing pretty casual, kind of just playing whenever he had, I guess had the urge or just wanted to play, but yeah, he is 100% quitting, and so he will no longer have, let's say he's making sure that he can't come back to the game. So it is a little sad losing my dungeon buddy, but I guess I'll have to find a new one. Let's see. Alright, and alright, so we have the last fight of this war, at least for me, and it's just the Stark Spidey. Now this fight is pretty easy actually, just because I don't have to worry about the evade, and all I have to do is basically bait a special once. And there you go. He does have Bulwark, so every once in a while that Indestructible is going to show up. We just have to try to make sure that we do get to an SP2 pretty fast before the cooldown comes off. So yeah, we're just going to stall a little bit. And yeah, this it just took a little bit too much time, so the Bulwark came off of its cooldown. And yeah, we just gotta kind of play in the wall right now, beta heavy. So we're good so far, and we do get a little trapped here. We gotta be very careful not to mess up our timing. And I believe I just go for mediums, and he gets the indestructible again. I'm like, really, dude? Like, you have no health right now. So yeah, kind of an annoying fight. Now I remember why Bulwark was so annoying. But yeah, there it is, guys, the rest of the war. I'm glad you guys watched the video. Thank you so much for all the support, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.